glorious morning as we depart Avalon, 7:45. Just motored past Lentica of Cruisers Academy SV Delos fame. They're charging $6,900 a head to go to per leg for like 6 days to go down to Mexico, to the Sea of Cortez. I'm charging people to make them pay their own airfare and putting them to work. But we are headed to Ensenada. So we've been calling a little bit of audibles. As far as I know, we'll have a slip, but I don't have an assignment yet, so I've been working over email. Tried all 3 marinas there, and we'll see how that works. But we're gonna actually go south towards San Clemente, and we're gonna try and stay out further offshore so we get some wind. This is the southeast side of Catalina, right at the quarry. And we've got 135, 150 miles to go. I think you can actually see like Palos Verdes back there, straight behind us. That's where we started our journey. We're starting to see a little bit of wind. I'm seeing 11.3, so we're starting to get out of the shadow of the island. I think we're gonna have mostly kind of a west wind, and we're just, once we get out of the shadow of the island, right now we're just motoring, charging up the batteries a little bit to get some clear air, and then we'll see what kind of sailing we can do. A little bit of a rainbow out there. I believe that's Eagle Rock over there. It's one of the rocks. Church, it might be Church Rock. I think Eagle Rock's on the other side. A little bit of a rainbow. 8:30 a.m., which means it's time to turn off the engine and fuck off and do some sailing. Engine is off. We got crew doing crew stuff. Teaching me about super complex things like tailtails and moving the Genoa cars forward for better sheeting angles. I didn't know those actually adjusted. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, because you keep moving them back.
No, I don't know if they haven't been moved since you were last on the boat, for the record.
Off the wind, we need them forward.
So we're gonna be we've got kind of a beam reach here, which is super nice at the moment, and if this wind picks up a little, we'll be flying. About 25.5 miles. You kind of see San Clemente. We're gonna stay off San Clemente Island. You can't see it over there, but we're gonna stay about 5 or 6 miles at least off of San Clemente, just so we're out of the security zones, even though that you don't have any scheduled live fire exercises or seal landings on the sector around Pyramid Cove, where we were gonna try and anchor before we found the windlass was hosed. So we'll be on this course for a few hours, and this is a small craft advisory. Pretty harsh conditions, as you can see. All right, we're just bouncing along towards San Clemente Island, and a little lumpy out here with light winds. And we're gonna go ahead and have a little bit of a late breakfast. So for this episode of Cooking with Keel Dragger, we're gonna have corned beef, hash, and eggs. Corned beef hash frying along. Next is gonna be put some pasture-raised brown eggs, which, by the way, have thicker shells than like the normal white, whatever, caged eggs that we typically get. Looks at them. All right. So I take a lot of shit from people bitching at me because I motor too much. Admittedly, I could be sailing a little bit more. Let me show you the view we have in front of us. This is Catalina Island. So,
we're sailing backwards.
we're sailing backwards. We're on our second pirouette here. The wind is dead. While, what is it?
It's coming back. It's coming back.
And what are they saying? 8 to 10 foot waves with 15 to 25 knot winds for the small craft advisory that ends at 10 p.m. It's a little bit after 10 a.m. So I think the wind's going to come up a little bit. But nice thing, and we get rocked around a little bit by these swells, but the period between them is about 15 seconds apart. So, you know, it's not too bad. We may be out here screwing around a little bit, but it's all good. So while we're bumping around, I'm trying something new just as an experiment to see if this works. Is I've got the Starlink just sitting in the hatch, not mounted up on deck, pointed straight up with the, we'll see, the motors may, when this thing boots up, may do something weird, but we'll see. If we get a signal doing that, you can check my email and see if we have a slip assignment in Ensenada yet, or if they want more paperwork. There in the distant background is San Clemente Island. And the southern tip, so we're just about parallel with Pyramid Cove, which is where we would be anchoring if the windlass worked. 3 p.m. we're still off of San Clemente, several miles, and we're kind of out here in the middle of nowhere. Patrick's a little disappointed we didn't go on the outside of, San Clemente and get more out in the wind. There's a small craft advisory, 15 to 25 knots. We haven't really seen much wind today, maybe 12 knots or so. So we're probably doing 4.5 knots. We've been, I think we've got up to 7 briefly. This super tanker out here, it's almost 1,100 feet long. This is showing up well. That's about 4.5 miles out. Pretty good distance. That is a huge ship. And that's the only traffic out here, and it's been the only traffic out here for quite a while. We haven't really had another ship get within 17, 18 miles of us. That is the Arafura. So it's 1,093 feet, 197-foot beam. And those guys are cranking along at 11.29 knots. A little faster than we are. We are cranking along at, I don't know, 5, close to 6. Speeds kind of bounce around all over the place as we get these little swells. Well, sunset, I'd say almost somewhere around 15 knots. Put the staysail in and put a single reef in the main. So it's reefed, and we're somewhere in the mid 6 knots. Feels pretty comfortable. Bit of moonlight. Sure, it's not gonna show up super well. It's just about 6:30 almost. We're gonna start a 3-hour rotation here, so 3 hours on, 3 hours off. Maybe a little short. Some people like 4 hours or whatever. 3 hours is actually a good schedule for me. All right, 3 a.m. update. We're 55 miles out from Ensenada. Patrick's been driving the boat too damn fast. So now we have to figure out whether we slow down or whether we speed up. The wind's dying down. We're doing around 3 knots, give or take. About 7:15 Thursday. So we're actually looking at the models. I think the wind turned out a little bit better than we expected, so we made better time. The question was whether we were gonna have to just screw around offshore so that we could make a daylight approach or not. As the models eventually kind of forecast, the weather did, wind kind of mellowed out a little bit, so it's pretty stale as far as wind. There's not much going on. Low single-digit breeze, these gentle rollers, and you start to see a little bit of red where the sun's coming up. There's actually a better shot here a few minutes ago. But we are just a little less than 40 miles out from Ensenada. Should get us in around 2 p.m. with a couple of hours to spare for light if everything goes to plan. About 15 miles out from Ensenada on our final approach. Just getting ready to enter Bahia de Todos Santos. There's the propane facility there. A little bit of a landmark as you're coming in. And then off our starboard bow, you can see the kind of make out the lighthouse there and these little hills. This first one there, those are the Islas de Todos Santos. So there's a couple islands that are on the southern end of the bay here. So it's pretty straightforward at this point. There's a couple of little slightly shallower spots. It's not a depth issue as much as they get kelp grown in there, so we'll keep an eye open for that. And then after that, it's just the approach into Ensenada. And as I look ahead, I wonder a little bit about visibility as we get in closer, since we really can't see Ensenada at this point. 15 miles out, so we've got several miles of visibility here, but we'll have to see what things look like as we get in closer. So hopefully we're not fogged out of port. A greeting party when I came into Mexico. Look at this. Just like that, I think they've just about all bugged out. Well, they came by to say hi. There's a couple stragglers. There'll be a boat on our starboard, so we'll probably want to leave the two on the other side. Christ. So where these guys are standing, Patrick?
I can see that, yeah.
No, I'm asking. That's it. We gonna make it?